Today I would like to present through a Christian worldview how social work can be used as a platform for Christ. In social work, they look at the environment of an individual and the resources that can be used to help them overcome problems and situations in their lives. I want to show how social work can be enhanced by using God's values. So first we'll see what social work is, what a few of God's values are, and how these values can be integrated into social work. So let's look at the job description and statistics for social work. According to the United States Department of Labor Occupational Outlook Handbook, in 2010, the average social worker made $42,000, and the demand for the occupation is expected to continue to grow through 2020. A bachelor's degree will open up many job opportunities, but a master's degree is required in healthcare settings. A social worker can work in a variety of places, in education, in healthcare, developing and treating mental, behavioral, or emotional problems, in rehabilitation facilities or in private practices, mentoring and counseling individuals, or even in military settings. A social worker can help children and families by intervening for children, by arranging a foster care and adoption placement, by helping bring families back together and helping them cope with struggles and changes. They can help individuals by providing resources, by addressing needs, and even helping in crisis situations. We understand through a biblical worldview that sin is the cause of the problems that we face, and that God is the answer for those problems. In Frank Raymond's Current Revolutionary Changes and Their Implications for Christians in Social Work, he stated, "We know that God has given us the freedom to choose, but the problems that we face are often the consequences of the choices that we have made." Now that we've seen what social work is, we'll look at what a few of God's values are. In Genesis 1:27, it says, "God created man in his own image." Through that, we see God's values for human life. God values life from the beginning to the end. And one way that a Christian social worker can show this value is by caring for the bodies and souls of those around them that have never heard that they were created in the image of God, and by promoting those values to others. God also values our attempt to communicate His gospel to others. And one way a Christian social worker can do this is by loving. We have been loved with an everlasting love, so we can give of that love to others. Freely we have received, so freely we can give. In John 3:16 it says, "For God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life." And this is the greatest value we can communicate to anyone at any time. These are only two of God's values, but we can see the vital impact they can have on social work. Now I'd like to share how Christian social workers can integrate these values into this profession. When I asked Kathleen Muser how social work could be used as a platform for Christ, she stated, "I've always found a background in social work to be helpful when considering the needs of the world and the Great Commission. As Christ said, 'What you've done for the least of these, you have done for me.'" We are able to bring glory to God when we serve others. She also feels that when we are able to meet the felt need of an individual, they are more open to hearing about what they may not even realize as their spiritual need. Although the field of social work and psychology is often a very liberal one, regulated by rules and such that prevent a person from deliberately sharing the gospel, Christian social workers will serve differently and with a different motive, and people will notice that. Catherine also finds a background in social work to be helpful when doing missions, as it prepares you to work with different people from different cultures and backgrounds. Now that we have seen how Christian social workers can integrate God's values into their profession, we've seen that social work, when used through a biblical worldview with God's values, can be helpful and useful. So I hope in closing you have a better understanding of what social work is and how, when used with God's values, can make a lasting difference in the lives of people. And Tiffany Harris's Integrating Faith in Social Work Practices interviewed Christian social workers stated that they have found social work not only to be a vocational calling, but also a spiritual calling. And this is how social work can be used as a platform for Christ. Thank you.